In the recent years, we have been witnessing right-wing movements and parties ascend across Europe, both within and outside of parliaments, both within Europe and across the world. Their politics drew on the rejection of domestic and international elites and mass media, of democratic and civil society institutions, of changing gender relations, or European integration. While there are notable differences between right-wing movements across European countries, their positions unify most prominently in the rejection of migration and of migrants. They skillfully used the flight movement in the summer of 2015 to expand their spheres of influence for a de-democratization of Europe. This is where our research starts. Cultures of rejections, conditions of acceptability in social, spatial, and digital environments in contemporary Europe, in brief, CURE, wants to understand the circumstances that are enabling right-wing politics across Europe. Much knowledge has already been produced on the attitude of voters or on the rhetoric and effects of reactionary parties. However, we turn our attention to a hitherto rather misunderstood area. How do these rhetorics actually become influential? What cultural and everyday practices do they enable? Which ones do they connect to? How does this de-democratization attitude become acceptable in different countries in Europe and on the grounds of everyday lives of people? In other words, we investigate what we term cultures of rejection. Modes of living and everyday practices that enable and make acceptable the political promises of right-wing parties and actors. The working thesis that we follow is that experiences of crisis and of transformation serve as conditions in which cultures of rejection take hold. What transformations and crises come to bear in people's quotidian lives? How and where are they experienced and discussed? And how do they ascribe meaning to these experiences through the discursive and affective rejection of antagonistic others? How do we proceed? Our research takes place in 5 European countries located along the 2015 migration route, in Serbia, in Croatia, in Austria, in Germany, and in Sweden. We answer these questions through an interdisciplinary and qualitative methodology. We draw on interviews, data collection, and ethnography in work environments and social spatial environments, such as neighborhoods. And we also research digital environments, which in our pandemic worlds in Europe are becoming increasingly important for the mobilization and organization of the European public. But it is, above all, the exploration of mixing and augmentation of these different environments from which we hope to gain new insights. It is in these environments that we encounter concrete experiences and narrations concerning the transformation of working and living conditions in Europe. And it is in these environments in which we see the articulation with various forms of rejection, for example, the rejection of refugees, of undeserving welfare recipients, or the rejection of democratic processes. Our research began at a time when pandemics appeared as something only happening elsewhere. Since 2020, crises and transformations in working and living conditions have doubtlessly catalyzed and produced new grounds for and formations of cultures of rejection in Europe. A so far unusual grouping of state measures, public service media, health officials, vaccination centers, tech billionaires, mobile populations, and many more from elements of rejection during the pandemic. We strongly believe that our ongoing and deepened research into the conjuncture will produce valuable insights into the conditions under which practices of European citizens take shape and may take shape in the time to come, and how can we contribute to countering a challenge to the European project, namely the advancing of de-democratization with knowledge and other contexts of meaning, and through close cooperations with partners in the public field. Thank you.